Hi folks, this is Class Exercise number 4, Part B, that I'm going to talk to you about where we left off last time on Part A, and I kind of alluded to you and kind of mentioned to you about some of these notes I kind of put off here with as well, but let me turn your attention, so I will have the video link here with it as well. This is Part B, which is the second part of this is with it, so I want us to go in, and I put the links on here. So here's the thing is if you can follow along, this is what's in the video right now with it. So let me move this Word document out of the way here for a moment. And I'd like for you to open up Visual Code for me. Open up your Visual Code, lay it out like I have it right here with it. Have your screen, your editor over here with it. And I'll also have the 1/5 of the screen is the browser kind of adjusted to this as well. So I want you to see that when you save file, I want you to see it like this. Don't put it on the left, don't put it at the bottom, don't put it at the top. Just I ask you to do it like this and just do it for me with it. After this class, you can do whatever you want to do with it. That's fine. It just helps me grade and be consistent with everybody else with it. So just help me out here. What I like for you to do is create a new folder for me. Find a new place that you want to create your files with it. I'm gonna, for me, remember how I put everything in a desktop with it. So I'm gonna find my desktop, and I have a sandbox that I've put a bunch of stuff on there, and you're welcome to. Like I said, I have hundreds of these stuff. I call it sandbox, but with it. But you should have a folder. Again, everybody's file structure is different. I'm going to call this thing class. I'm going to call this thing IMED. Like I said, you could have 2315 and class with it. Inside of this, you can call your name, or you can have your name and IMED. It's your file structure as long as you know where you find it. Okay, so there isn't a right or wrong, but definitely you need a folder that's called Class Ex 4 with it. All right. Class X short for Class EX4, no spaces, no special character, all in one word. Uppercase the C, uppercase the E, like you did right now with number 4. Don't put any special character or spaces in there. And hit enter for me. And that's the folder I want you. It's an empty folder. I want you to select that folder. Excuse me. And it looks like this right now. And when you see this, just click on yes, and you trust the author because you are the author in this thing with it. So in here, I'd like for you to create 3 files for me, okay? We're still going to play with some of the files that we're looking at. The first file I want you to create, of course, is the index.html. And the second file that I'd like for you to create is the index.css with it. And the third file I want you to create is index.js. Okay, so 3 files all in the same folder with it as well. And here's what I'd like for you to do as you go through. If you have me for programming or any future instructor for programming, you need to be able to put your name in a document format with it. So every file from here on out, I expect this header to be on there with it. So for an HTML page, what is a comment? You guys remember what comments it is? It's your angle bracket. Here, your angle bracket, and it's what? Your explanation dash. So there you go, and it puts the dash the right angle brackets for you as well. So the first thing I need for you to do is you need to put your full name on here. I'm not going to type all this stuff with it as well, but I got this little thing over here. I got a paste it. So I need for you to complete your full name in this right here, and if you do one of them, and you just copy and paste for the other ones, okay? But you have to change up the way how it's not class size number, it's number 4. So make sure you fill. I want full name. I want in here the term and the year. If it's fall, semester, fall, spring, that's the term. Summer is a term. So put the term in there. It's one of the categories that you have in here with it. So it's term. It's either what do you got? Summer. You got summer. Fall, or spring. Okay, so it's one of those, and year is, of course, year, right? 4 numbers with it as well. So I want you to get used to this, because all computer science classes or web design pages with it, for coding, you've got to be able to do this. That's the first thing you need to do. That's the first header part for all code. When you click on the CSS side of it, it's different. You can't use this type of comments with it. If you recall what CSS comments, what does that look like? So in the comments for the CSS, you do a forward slash, and an asterisk, right? And you do another asterisk and a forward slash. So this is a comment that you can do in here as well with it. So you can see, I can let me just grab the same format that I got here with it. After I fill out here, I would just go to the CSS and just hit tab and kind of paste that same format in here with it, like this. All right, so fill this out. All you have to do is fill the name and semester with it. What do you do for the JS? Same thing. So I'm going to take the CSS file that I have comments here. It's with the forward slash and asterisk, right? So in the same thing, it's a different format with it as well. So fill your name here. Now, there's 2 reasons why I want you to do this. One is for you to see. Of course, documentation is important with it, but more important with it, it's a different type of syntax for CSS, HTML, and JSS with it. So the JSS and the CSS is the same comments with it. So I want you to remember that with it. That is a test question. And later on, when you start to learn to debug with me, whether it's in a C++ class or a Java or Python, whatever it is with it, you're going to have to hide some of your code and debug it. Meaning we don't delete code, we just hide it from the IDE so it doesn't see it, and then we debug it, and then we open it back up on it once we have it tested with it. So there's a technique of debugging with it. 1 is to document, 2 is to debug the variables with it as well. So all 3 pages, make sure. So again, HTML is the angle bracket, explanation, dash, and everything in it is actually ignored by the compiler. You go to the CSS, it's a forward slash, asterisk, and everything between it is ignored. And of course, it's the same thing for the index.js, the JavaScript file with it. All right, so let's start with this. With it, I'm going to start with the bare minimum with you. If you could just follow along with me with it, and I would like for you to just recall from your HTML or your basic skeleton right now. It's HTML with it, right? And you hit enter. Let me move the cursor out of the way because I changed the cursor. Somebody said that you can't see my cursor, so I just cranked up my cursor font for you, so it's a little more visible. I hit enter. Take advantage of the IntelliSense. Remember that these are your document object model with it, and these are your elements with it. So inside of your HTML, you have the 2 sections called the head section, right? And then you have the body. Now, if you recall. So take advantage of the IntelliSense. Half the stuff I don't type. It types the other half for me. All right. So in the head section, you're going to type what? Indent in. Make sure you have the title. All right. So we're going to call this thing. Let's call this thing Class Ex4. Okay. So you can do that with it. Move that aside with it, and the body with it as well. So. We need to be able to link this page, is the HTML, to the CSS. And I want you to do an external link with this. If you recall, all the external CSS, where they belong in the header, right? So remember what that link is? It's what? Link, REL, remember that from your CS1? And we're going to call this thing style sheets, right? And then we're going to do an href, tab, move that cursor out of the way, and we're going to tell it, since it's in the same folder, we don't have to go through a subdirectory with it, but technically what I would like for you to do is, and once you got that down with it, and you close off this bracket with it, and that should be able to connect, right, with it. So that's very important, that how you connect the index is actually linked to your CSS, which is this file right here, right? Now, theoretically, when we actually do another exercise after this thing, I want the CSS to be in a separate folder, CSS folder. I want the JavaScript to be in a JS folder for security. The only file that's outside with the same level is the HTML. So all files needs to be in the same proper folder it's in with it. One, later on, I want to tell you why. It's security reason. Two, it just better organize your file structure with it as well. All right. So that's one thing I need for you to do. This is your basic skeleton with it. So the other piece that we need to link is our JavaScript with it as well, right? And one of the things when we talked about JavaScript with it, I can link this on the top, I can link it at the bottom, it doesn't really matter, but it's part of the design. I want to put this in the script in the body. I'll tell you why in a second with it. So let's start with the script. Here's the script tag with it, and I'm gonna do the src is the source, and where is the source connecting to? It's going to connect to the index.js. This file here, the IntelliSense picks it up, and I want to move this over. I'm going to close this off, and it closes off the script tag for me. All right. So two important links that you have done is this is to the CSS, and this one talks to the JS. So all three of these files are now looking at the main one is the index.html where it's connected. All the other two files, index.css and index.js, both of these are linked in your index as your main file with it. All right. So index.html is your main file. It pulls in the other three files with it. Again, if you look at here's my index.css, I don't have anything. Here's my index.js, I don't have anything. Besides, both of these files are just basic headers, with it as well. So if you see like a white dot on top of it or a white circle on top of your tab with it, you need to save it. So just come down and say save all, and all that just disappears with it. So come back on your index.html for me. So we're going to come in right now. This is the first link I want you to do with it. Now, this is from this point on this next video, because I'm running 12 minutes already. So I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to continue on with part C. I want to bring in some 3 CDN files right now with it. So let me stop the video right here. This concludes part B of class exercise number 4.